post-match show, brought to you by Bendigo Bank.
Got to say they took a bit of stick last week for the way they sung the song. Well, you're not going to recruit singers. They were very good tonight, though, and they win big time, as you can see. The margin 71 points. They make it 4 from 4. 14 goal kickers tonight, so that is a club record, we're told. 161 to 90. Lee Montagna joins us on the panel for the post-game program. And Lee, it comes back to Dane Swan again. He was terrific tonight. He gets under the radar so often. It sounds ridiculous, a player like that, but again, they didn't pay him a lot of respect at times tonight.
Yeah, you're right. He did get under the radar again tonight, and I think maybe it might have something to do with his shuffle, that he sort of doesn't catch the eye of his opponents. But not only that, he works very hard around the stoppages. He's always on the move, anticipating where the footy's going to go, and he reads it so well. And I think tonight the key for him was pushing forward. I think when he goes forward, he's super strong, and he's getting his chance to kick some goals.
Lee, we were talking off air that you were just amazed with his efficiency, the way he covers the ground. Can you explain that?
Yeah, I've watched him last week and this week up close as well. Also, for my own benefit, to get a feel for what he does, and he doesn't sort of waste energy. He tends to walk at times and just read the game, and then when he goes, he runs hard, and that's why opponents can't keep up with him, because he does have that explosive pace. When he goes, he's very hard to stop.
Lee, just a quick one too. I'm curious, to an outsider, you're playing out there. What's his demeanour like on the field? Is he a noisy player? Does he say very much to his teammates?
No, not at all. He's a very quiet sort of guy out there. Nothing seems to faze him. He just sort of meanders along, but has such an impact. He's ferocious attack on the footy and wants the footy. But out on the ground, you wouldn't notice it. He's very quiet, just goes about his business.
Okay, down to the rooms now. Speaking of quiet guys, here's Michael Malthouse talking with our own Tim Watson.
Well, Mick, how would you summarise that performance tonight?
Well, that 6 or 7 goal wind, you reckon, out there?
I couldn't tell from where I was sitting. You got out in the middle. You had a real crack at it. But I don't think there was a 7-goal wind.
There was no wind. But when you see a scoreboard like that, you sometimes you shake your head and you think, how in the hell can that happen? And so we know we're not playing great football, but we've been challenged a few times and we've been able to come back. So I suppose there's some things to like about that. But I think what we do, we fail. When that happens, we fail to recognise how good the opposition were, and that's a really, if you want to be really big-headed, you just ignore the opposition. Go, well, we played poorly and they didn't. But the actual results, I've watched them play. It's okay. I've watched them play against Carlton and kick 6 or 7 in one quarter. I've watched them come back from behind and play St Kilda. Both sides were in the finals last year. So they were tested at half-time. And I'm not about to jump into Damien Hardwick's seat, but he should be very proud of the way they fought. They got the football, and I think it always starts and finishes where the ball is. And if you clear the ball enough, you put enough pressure on back lines, they're human. They can foul just as easy as anyone else. And they control the ball in that third quarter, and we couldn't. So full credit to them. And in the last quarter, we were challenged. I thought we tackled better. We made sure that when we had the opportunity to kick a goal, we kicked a goal, which can break someone else's heart. And especially when they've tried so hard, and you see a 4-goal lead go to 5 goals or 6 goals, it's just about you can shut the door then. But full credit to Richmond. I thought they were terrific in that second and third quarters, and great lessons for us.
Full credit to Collingwood too. I mean, it was another solid performance. Well done.
Thanks, Timmy. All the best.
Thanks, mate.
Hail, fellow. Well met. Lee Matthews, just a question for you, because you like this midfield for Richmond, how it's shaping up. I mean, he said they were tested, Collingwood, in the third term. Well, actually, Richmond tackled them at their strength, did they not? I mean, Cochin with 11 possessions, those midfielders took them on.
Well, they won the footy, and I think they have got an emerging midfield. Trent Cotchin's a good example. He's going into his 4th year, has been fairly injured early along his career, but now you can see him really emerging. Kicks the ball beautifully. The first pass to Kings mark early in that third quarter when he just turned onto his left side and dropped it straight into his lap. He's just a really good player. Martin's strong in there, but and Jackson's good. So all of a sudden, they're getting half a dozen players around that part of the ground who are very competitive. Now, when they had control of the footy, Richmond started to score.
So they're rebuilding and not a bad place to start. At the opposite end of the ground, we've got Chris Tarrant for Collingwood. Now, how tough is it, Tom, to come back, hailed as a good defender, and fit into an experienced defence?
Well, Chris Tarrant's making it look pretty easy, to be honest. He's come back. He rejuvenated his career at Fremantle, obviously went over as a forward and was converted into a defender, did some fantastic jobs for Fremantle. Helps we're having, obviously, the overall ground pressure, which Collingwood have, but he's had to stand up in the absence of Nathan Brown, and you've got to say he's doing it pretty well.
Do you fancy he would be ahead of Nathan Brown if they were both available? How do you see that one?
No, I don't. I think Nathan Brown's probably their number one choice. I think he'd be ahead of Ben Reid in that situation, but Nathan Brown would be their preferred key defender.
So the Magpies remain undefeated. They win by 71 points tonight on Friday Night Football here at the MCG. 9 goals in the final term, a club record 14 goal kickers. On Sunday, we'll be at the Gabba when the Gold Coast take on Melbourne. Looking forward to that one. That is perhaps the linchpin of what is a very big day's football right here on 7.
Sunday at 10 is game day. And what a lineup we've got. Michael Hurley, Dane Beams, Luke Hodge, Robbo and the Ox give you the footy wrap with the lot.
Hamblin takes them on.
Then it's off to the Gabba. We'll see if the Suns can make history and rise for a first win against the Demons.
What a contest this is. Oh, I like it a lot.
And for Perth viewers, the dazzling Dockers meet the Roos at 3.
Wonderful.
It's a Sunday sporting feast, and it's all on 7.
The post-match show, brought to you by Bendigo Bank.
Lowndes is pretty quick today over there in the practice. So Collingwood have now got the second, third and fourth highest scores for the year. Carlton's got the highest with the Gold Coast. And they've got an average winning margin of over 10 goals, 161 to 90. So it was a huge margin of 71 points at the end. So 13-12 played, 24 goals, 17. So the replay on Saturday morning, if you're a Tiger fan, watch that third quarter again. If you're a Collingwood fan, turn it on right from the start. That's on 7, mate. Richmond against Collingwood early tomorrow morning. With Lee Matthews, Tom Harley and also Lee Montagna. Joey, you might just move from this game for a little. You've been under the pump, the Saints, the bubble where everyone thinks has burst. What's the week been like?
Yeah, look, the week's been actually really positive. We've had a few good meetings. Ross has been through with the group, and we've just identified a few areas that we need to work on, and they're pretty much some basic areas that we know we can do. We've done it in the past, and we'll do it again. So, in regards to that, with the bye, we had a solid training session today, and we'll have another one Sunday. And as that, things are as usual.
Well, you had rounds 1 and 2. You know, lost but close, draw. One bad game you've had. It's easy to be talked into a hole. You've had one bad game out of the 3, but everyone thinks it's disaster. I mean, Lenny Hayes is a bad loss, but...
Yeah, there has been a lot of talk about that,
yeah.
But amongst the players, you know, we're still very confident. You know, we know that there's only some things that we can work on, and as you said, a couple of close losses that could have gone either way, and, you know, we could have been sitting 2-1 and still playing not great football. So there are some positive signs, and I do need to say we had an addition to the St Kilda family. Justin Gzitsky and his partner Alicia had a baby boy this morning, so I wanted to congratulate them too.
Good news. Well, you lost Revolt last year for a long time, didn't you? At a similar stage in the year. Hayes, of course, won't come back. Your role might change a bit, will it?
Yeah, well, all us midfielders have to step up. Myself, Dalsano, God, I will spend more time, you know, in the midfield and in amongst it.
Well, I've got to say, you were good against Tom at half-time tonight. You won that footy pretty easy, so good luck with all of that. What do you like as a tipster, Joey?
No, I'm pretty ordinary, actually.
Okay, let's have a go. Okay, let's have a look at the odds. TAB Sportsbet for the rest of the round. Well, we're going to give you what looks to be maybe an easy one on paper, Hawthorn against West Coast.
Yeah, hopefully I got this tip right. Look, I think Hawthorn are starting to show some real form, and down in Tasmania where they play some great footy, they should beat West Coast.
Tom, this has been hard, and even the bookmakers, I mean, the odds there are $1.87, $1.90. It is hard to get a handle on who might win out of Carlton and Essendon.
I want to go against the odds there and go for the Bombers. Their form, obviously, last week against St Kilda was outstanding. Shapes to be a massive Anzac Day if they get over the line against the Blues. So Bombers to win just against Carlton.
Lee will take you on to Saturday night, and this is the other really big match, isn't it?
It is a big game. Swans have been in really good shape, but Geelong have started the season really well. It's hard to tip against Geelong, but I think I might go for the Swans at home. I think the Swans are a really solid team.
Lee, there's a bit of a history in Adelaide. The underdog often wins the showdown. Port weren't good last week. Adelaide also were pitiful in the first half, as they were against Hawthorn early in the year. Yeah,
you're right. The underdog does seem to win this game, and I think Port Adelaide with some big changes, you know, dropping Kane Corns, Daniel Pearce, I think they've made a statement, and I think Port Adelaide might win this.
Okay, so No wonder you're not a good tipster. No, actually, Porter got a good chance. I should have said that. This is not going to Adelaide, is it, Tom? Your old town? No, I hope not. Now, what about Gold Coast and Melbourne, Tom? We're up there with Lee on the weekend. Not you, but I'm talking about Dennis and myself.
Well, this is probably the shortest odds Gold Coast we have for a while before they really start to develop as a side. Melbourne have to win. It's as simple as that. If they're going to improve like everyone suggests, really have to do a good number on the Gold Coast Suns.
Lee, I've got to say the Kangaroos have had a hard draw. They went to Perth round 1, they then played Collingwood, they then got a bye, and now they go back to Perth. That's tough.
It is tough, and Fremantle are in good shape. They've started the year well, had a couple of good wins away from home, so I tip Fremantle.
Well, we did have a close match here tonight. Not the main game, which had its moments, that's for sure. But earlier tonight, now, Tom, you are an assistant coach of the AIS team against Geelong. That'd be like dancing with your sister, wouldn't it, mate?
I couldn't lose today,
No.
Bruce. And as it
Tell us
turned out,
about it, mate.
It was a fantastic opportunity. So the AIS boys are about to embark on a 3-week tour of Europe. Matthew Lloyd, the assistant coach, looking after the forwards. I'm looking after the backs. And Michael O'Loughlin, the Hall of Famer from the Sydney Swans, is the senior coach. Just going through a few of the young players here. This is young Chris Yaron from Western Australia, really highly rated junior. And Jago O'Meara, in a lot of recruiters' eyes, is the pick of the bunch. Now, he falls into an interesting age category. He's born between January and April, which means he can't be drafted by the GWS Giants. And there's a mini draft which goes about, so the clubs will jockey to get a player of Jago's experience, and he will step up into AFL footy without a doubt. Superstar player.
Who ended up winning again?
Australia won by a point, Bruce. So I had a win.
I'd always back Australia against Geelong, though, wouldn't you?
I think I would.
You'd want them to beat Geelong. I know Geelong are pretty good. No, good stuff, Tom. It's exciting stuff. We'll see a bit of the future, Lee, on the weekend, won't we, when we go up to Brisbane at the Gabba. Okay, game day on Sunday with Hamish. Always a terrific program featuring Dane Beams, Michael Hurley, one of your favourites, Lee, doing good things, Hodgie, the Ox and Robbo. That's a great lineup. Now, the voice in the outer, what's the question? Okay, who's Collingwood's most dangerous midfielder? Okay, up to you, Joey. Dane Swan or Scott Pendlebury?
Yeah, I have to go with Dane Swan. I think now kicking those goals, he's added to his game and pushing forward, it's going to make him even more dangerous.
I think I'd go for that, but so many clubs are tagging Pendlebury instead of Swan still.
Okay, because of the age?
No, that's just other clubs seem to be thinking Pendlebury's the most dangerous.
I'll take Swan as well. I think Joey Montana touched on it perfectly. He's kicking goals.
We're seeing you next Thursday night. That's a big game, Brisbane and St Kilda. There's a lot riding on that now.
Yeah, it is a big game, and the boys have prepared well. We've got a couple more training sessions and looking forward to a good effort up there.
And I think you might be catching up with Jonathan Brown on that night, we're hoping anyway, Lee.
Looking forward to that.
Joey, thanks for being part of it. It's been a good night, actually. Very, very entertaining. Collingwood by 71 points. Their equal highest score ever against the Tigers. You saw it on Friday night on 7. See you later.
Richmond! Collingwood! MCG! Stuck in the flame! Pain of pain! Never wake and fall! Defend or die! It's a way of life! We'll answer the call! Raise the flag!